Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Brodie here. Please ignore, my hand disappearing. I'm using natural lighting because I have to, and it's pissing me the hell off because it keeps changing how I look in the video, which is frustrating beyond belief. Anyway, I went to the op shop today. So this is number 2 in the op shop book haul series thing that I'm doing. So I spent $29 and I want to share with you what I got. I said it last video, I would really recommend people go around to the local thrift stores and local op shops and try to find little treasures there, because basically you just never know what you'll find. Alright, so without trying to topple this over, this is what I got today. So $29 for 14 books, and I'm just going to go through, talk a little bit about what they are about from what I can gather, and yeah. Alright, get comfy. Okay, book 1 is Masters of Reality. No, that's wrong, that's book... jokes. Book 1 is by Traci, The Ancient Future, The Dark Age. So I really, not that you can see, I really love the artwork. It's almost like Stonehenge. And it's a thrilling Celtic fantasy that wreaks havoc with history. I love Celtic kind of lore, so super excited to kind of jump into this. I've wanted to buy it for years, I just never got around to doing it. So judging from the back of the book, there is a female character named Tori. She's in a car accident and has to spend the night at a sacred site in the English countryside because she can't leave. She's also a black belt in Taekwondo, so she spends the night there by herself. There are, I don't know if they're one character or like a collection of characters known as the Merlin, know that Tori is destined to be legendary. So through the wisdom of the old ones, they teleport her back to the Dark Age. Once she stumbles into the Dark Age, she comes across a prince, and because she's dressed in contemporary clothing, the prince thinks that she's a witch. As a result, they have a battle of unarmed combat. She's Taekwondo black belt, so she kicks his ass and changes the course of British history forever. Book 2 and 3, I'm not entirely sure what they're about. So book 2 is An Echo in Time, Atlantis, and then book 3 is Masters of Reality, The Gathering. I know they both continue to follow Tori's story, but I'm not entirely sure how, simply because I haven't read them. But they're from a series called The Ancient Future. So that's book 1, 2, and 3, all of that. And they cost me $2 each, so $6 in total. Next, I got book 4 and 5 of the Dexter series. You would have seen in the last video that I got the omnibus, which had book 1, 2, and 3. I mostly got these to finish kind of most of the series of what I have, for when I finally get around to reading them. But long story short, Dexter Morgan is a forensic scientist who kills bad people, more or less, so serial killers and this, that, whatever. I haven't actually read any of the books, but I'm just assuming it follows that same kind of storyline. So yeah, Dexter by Design and Dexter is Delicious by Jeff Lindsay. So I got those two and they cost me $1.50 each. Next, Lord of the Rings Location Guide. I am such a Tolkien fan. I think the films are beautiful. I love New Zealand. I've never been there. I really, really want to go there. But yeah, basically anything, if it has Lord of the Rings on it, then I'll buy it. But I think it'll be really interesting to see the reality of what the scenes in the movie are. So, for example, to find something interesting, the south of Rivendell is actually Mount Olympus, and to get there, they needed to fly in on a helicopter. So little things like that I really find interesting to see Middle Earth, but in real life. And that cost me $1. Next, the Divergent, the Initiate's World. I'm a huge fan of the Divergent series, the trilogy, the books. Just to clarify, only the books. But I really, it's very much like Lord of the Rings, where I will buy it to kind of get this understanding. And it goes through and it talks about the different characters. So you have Molly, Will, Christina, Peter, Caleb. Triss 4 talks about the faction list, the different factions, the choosing ceremony, all that kind of stuff, the training and everything like that. So I am really interested to read this because 1, it'll be a quick read, 2, it deepens your understanding of the world, and 3, it cost me $1 instead of $13. So I got that. Got a couple of movie ones. The next one, The Hunger Games, the tribute guide. This one basically talks about the different tributes. So for example, Thresh, Rue, tribute boy, tribute girl. Wow, what wonderful names they have. Foxface, Cato, Clove, Marvel, Glimmer. So it talks about all the different tributes in the 74th Hunger Games, which Katniss and Peter are thrown into in the first book of the Hunger Games trilogy. Again, it's very much that idea of let's deepen our understanding even more, or try to find little bits of information that might not be out there. So for example, they talk about the different interviews, they talk about the training sessions, the individual training sessions. So yeah, and that cost me $1. Next, another Hunger Games book. It says $5, it wasn't, it was $2.50. This is all about the world of the Hunger Games, from, you know, talking about Pan Am, to talking about Katniss, to life in the districts, to training, to being clean for the games, everything like that. So I like Peter and Katniss. Anyway, so again, it's that idea of let's kind of get a deeper, more wider perspective of the story. So, The World of the Hunger Games. Next, Australia's Worst Disasters by Malcolm Brown. $3 it cost me. I just find it really, it almost sounds like macabre and just very kind of gruesome, but I really find crimes and disasters interesting because it lets you know the history of a place. So for example, it talks about the Granville train crash that happened in Australia. It talks about some of the bushfires that have happened over the years, the implosion of Royal Canberra Hospital, Cyclone Traci, Thredbo landslide, and yeah, it's really just about kind of understanding more about Australia, and I hope to find some inspiration in here for my own writing, because I'll set a lot of books that I write in Australia. So yeah. Next, Binge by Tyler Oakley. I don't know how much this would cost in store. I can imagine it would be quite pricey, around $30 if not more. I'm a fan of Tyler Oakley. I like Tyler Oakley. He's one of the YouTubers, the few YouTubers that I can watch consistently, who doesn't piss me off after a while. And he's so, you know, I think about YouTube and he would personify what that means. This cost me $3 and it basically is like a memoir really, or a memoir so far for him. So I'm interested. Oh my god, that photo is hilarious. I'm really interested to I peed, brushed my teeth, washed my face, drank a glass of water, took 2 Advil and looked in the mirror. Holy shit, last night actually happened. Well, can't wait to read that. Yeah, like, I really wanted to buy it. I wanted to read it for a while, but I didn't have the however much money to spend on it, or I didn't want to dedicate that much money to it. So, you know, for $3, it's a bargain. And okay, then the last 3, are these 3 books by Ian Irvine. So it's from the Tale of 3 Worlds. So from the Well of Echoes series. Hope I got that right. First book is Geomancer. The second book is Tetrarch. And then the third book is Scrutator. So I'm not going to worry about going into detail about the other 2 because I have no idea what they are. I've read one book by him which was called it was called something that I don't know because it doesn't tell me. Yep, it doesn't tell me. Okay, so I read one of his books and I really liked it, and then I could never find the second one at the library because someone stole it. So I never kind of continued reading them. Anyway, so 200 years ago, after the forbidding was broken, Santhanar is locked in war with the Lyrics, intelligent winged predators who will do anything to gain their own world. Despite the development of battle clankers and mastery of the crystals that power them, humanity is losing. The enemy is destroying their nodes of power, one by one. Tien, a lonely crystal worker in a clanker manufactory, is experimenting with an entirely new kind of crystal when she begins to have extraordinary visions. The crystal has woken her latent talent for geomancy, the most powerful of all the secret arts and the most perilous. Geomancy is likely to kill her before she masters it. It is a talent that allies and enemies alike are desperate to control. Falsely accused of sabotage by her rival Arisis, Tien flees for her life. She is also hunted by the larynx Real, who plans to use her in his dreadful flesh-forming experiments. Only geomancy can save her. Struggling to control her talent, Tien follows her visions all the way to the T-Thrax, greatest peak on all the 3 worlds where a nightmare awaits her. Believe it or not, I actually am a big fan of fantasy and of kind of epic fantasy stories rather than a one-off book, and these are quite clearly epic. And I'm very particular about it though, like if the world isn't kind of created with enough content, then I won't read it. But this sounds like it has enough content, it has enough plot, it has enough to kind of keep me going. Because for a book that isn't set in another world, for example, like like what? Well, even Harry Potter, in a way. You have the basic setting of Europe and of London, and of England. So that kind of already builds on what you know. When you're creating a world from scratch, you have to do it well enough that the reader can trust it and believe it. And that's what J.K. Rowling did with Harry Potter. That's what Veronica Roth did with the Divergent trilogy. That's what was done in the Hunger Games and the Lord of the Rings, and what I hope is done in this. So, yeah. And they all cost me $3 each, and I'm not complaining. So, there you have it. $29.50, I believe. Yep, $29.50. 14 books, super happy. So if you go thrift store shopping, if you find any lucky treasures, let me know. I really like hearing people's stories about, you know, finding books that they didn't think they would like, but they do. So yeah, And until then, keep reading, happy reading, and I will speak to you next time. Peace out, much love, bye.